trans creators were harassed by right-wing losers. In recent days, transphobia has reared its ugly head in relation to some of Twitch's biggest creators. I know, this isn't what I normally cover, but I thought more people needed to hear about what's happening over there, since it's depressing how more people aren't speaking about this. You all know Twitch, right? The big live streaming platform? Well, they have had a hate-fueled tirade from two right-wing creators, a VTuber named Kirsche and Asmongold. Chat, are these hit piece articles going to meme Asmon and I into becoming a real couple? Is this how this happens? I was attacked by crazy people masquerading as transgender people, and that's how my husband proposed to me. You're pretty much already married. They both harassed two trans creators, a journalist named Ana Valenz and a trans VTuber named Yara, with Kirsche and her fans harassing Ana to the point of making her take an indefinite leave from Blue Sky simply for calling Kirsche out on her racist and bigoted beliefs. I just don't understand how these people can lie to this degree and still feel like they're the correct right people. Like, how do you do this? How do you just go on the internet and tell lies and then sleep at night? Like, I don't get it, dude.
You really think someone would do that? Just go on the internet and tell lies?
Slight content warning, the things that will be covered in this article are going to be just a bit disturbing and incredibly transphobic. If this article isn't going to be your cup of tea, go read some of my other articles for a lighter mood. With that out of the way, let's start. All of this begins with Vice Waypoint journalist Ana Valenz. She covers things mostly relating to pop culture, mainly queer and trans representation in gaming. On the 21st of April, she wrote an article entitled, "Why is this GamerSupps VTuber pushing the Great Replacement Theory?" going into detail about the foxy fucker known as Kirsche Verstahl. You can just feel the bias dripping off of their fucking keyboard, man. In it, she details how, among other things, Kirsche is incredibly transphobic, saying that trans women are gynophiliac males with power-hungry threats and graphic murder fantasies. Actually, I said most trans activists, so I wasn't talking about trans women, and I also wasn't even talking about all trans activists, but you guys are really making my point. Ana has proved my point. That other article we read, that person proved my point. You here are proving my point. That most trans activists do seem to be autogynophiliac males with power-hungry threats and graphic murder fantasies. I mean, do we really need to get out the fucking cis girl rape breeding facilities with macaroni and a pot pussy again? Do we gotta do that? If the shoe fits. You know how you always say some are, and they almost always say all of them are? Yeah, because they have to try and paint me as a terrible person because I pointed that the emperor has no clothes. And it's not in these people's best interest if regular people understand that there's a difference between actual transgender dysphoric people and autogynophiliacs or ideologues. This is why they have to shout down people and try to get rid of them and unperson them when you bring up these points. Spouts the Great Replacement Theory, I don't, saying that there was a hostile demographic takeover happening here in the States and across the pond in the UK. Politicians have admitted this is true, while railing against the creation of a mosque in England. Why are you building a £2 million mosque in England? Why? There's more evidence I could show, but I'm pretty sure you all get the point here. Kirsche is a bigoted, transphobic, and racist fucker. I mean, they got one thing right. I would fuck a racist, you know, let's be real about that, okay? That's like almost a requirement at this point. But after Anna's initial article, she went fucking feral. Excuse me, I've had my rabies shots. I'm not feral, and defending myself is not attacking a poor little Ana. Ana threw some giant fucking rocks and tried to financially harm me. They were participating in and spearheading life ruination. So that's not me going feral. I have every fucking right to defend myself against Anna's inane bullshit. She pushed the harassment campaign that Ana started to get into overdrive. People sent death threats to Ana, sending screenshots of a rope implying that she should kill herself. Kirsche read some of Anna's adult work on stream! And among other things, she published this pile of fucking wank playing victim. I mean, you guys have read my tweet. Don't let them rewrite history and lie like they always do. It's not a pile of fucking wank, it's literally the truth, but you guys can't handle the truth.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
That's why you need to stranglehold this power on people to capitulate to your nonsense. This is the saddest attempt of victim blaming I've ever seen in my life. You know, unironically, you're correct here. This is the saddest attempt of victim blaming I've ever seen in my life. The fact that giant corporate journalists went to bat for Ana when Ana was harassing me, an independent VTuber. Yeah, it's pretty fucking sad. Crying foul because someone called you out on your bigoted bullshit and blaming them, saying that she has a corporate backing. The hate, put in quotes, because she's crying about being the victim of a problem that she herself created. This describes Ana fucking perfectly, actually. That you received was entirely warranted. Oh, okay, if we're gonna take that route, well then everything Ana's received has been entirely fucking warranted. Why should I care? Reading makes me just ask, what the actual fuck did you expect? Yeah, Ana, what the actual fuck did you expect? I guess I shouldn't expect much critical thinking from right-wing dumbasses, but I digress. But then Ana responds to Kirsche very professionally, saying all this bullshit that I didn't want to bother reading. Incredibly professional response to an absolutely feral hate response train. Yeah, and Ana doesn't deserve a response because they've shown that they don't operate in good faith. Why would I ever respond to someone who has done what they've done to me? I do not give a shit. Ana and professional in the same sentence, I mean. Ana's bosses at Vice Waypoint also stood on business, and in a later article published by Dwayne Jenkins made their stance unequivocally clear. Vice Waypoint stands with Ana Valenz. Until I served them a cease and desist and they realized that Ana Valenz is fucking crazy and needed to be muzzled.
Manya!
And although Vice caved and eventually deleted Ana's initial articles, much to the praise of some VTubing fans, but I'm getting ahead of myself, this was seen as a bit admirable. However, this didn't stop the constant onslaught of tweets and harassment sent Ana's way. It reached its breaking point on May 15th, meaning that all of this has taken place over the span of about 50-ish days. Yeah, and it's been longer for me, because the harassment campaign was just by literal nobodies on Twitter that nobody fucking cared about until Ana decided to make their little hit piece articles. When Ana posted onto her Blue Sky that she's taking an indefinite leave from Blue Sky, don't care. You want to know who didn't do anything to say, yeah, we don't fucking support this? GamerSupps. The energy drink company has a lot of big names in the indie VTubing space under its belt as partial owners, and neither the company nor any of its partial owners have spoken about this, except for Rin Penrose, another big indie VTuber who publicly cut ties with the company via her Twitter for their associations with creators whose views strongly conflict with my own. Look, I'm just saying, when I bring in thousands of dollars and they can barely crack 20 bucks on one of their streams, this wasn't them making a principled stance. This was virtue signaling and wanting to use me to try and revive their dying fucking channel. This wasn't a good person doing a good thing. This is a shitty person trying to participate in a cancel campaign on an independent woman. Rin doesn't fuck with you. Holy shit, why is this person so fucking weird? Now, since Rin didn't name anyone specifically, it's left entirely up to the imagination as to who she's referring to. She could be referring to the foxy fucker Kirsche. I kind of like this moniker. Maybe I should bring this on next month. Or she could be referring to another one of GamerSupps' partial owner, Cinder, who had been accused of mistreating her now former model artist and sabotaging other VTubers, many of whom were her colleagues. No, and you know that this is the case because they say, association with creators whose views strongly conflict with my own. Cinder didn't have views that conflicted with Rin Penrose. Cinder had actions against other people that were slimy. These were not views. Rin worded this incredibly specifically so that normal people would know exactly who she's talking about. Other than Rin, not a single one of GamerSupps' partial owners have come out against Kirsche. Rin is also not a partial owner. And there have been plenty of other retards who are partnered with GamerSupps who bought this a whole hook, line, and sinker. In fact, one of them, who's over 1 million sub channel, keeps putting snide claps at me in their GamerSupps ads, and it's like, you know, that's really funny how fucking petty some of these larger channels seem to be. Considering the fact that I've never tried to get anyone dropped from GamerSupps, despite some of the very violent and disgusting rhetoric they have espoused on social media. GamerSupps is a politically neutral company, and it should stay that way. And if you're one of the candy asses who's been trying to pressure them behind the scenes to get them to drop me, because I'm sure there's more than what we've seen publicly, and I'm sure that some of these people adding these weird slants at me in their GamerSupps ads.
And the flavor of the week is brand risk yet again. Did you guys know that there's a theory going around that GamerSupps is actually changing out their formulas to make it even greater? Yeah, it's true. Just look up GamerSupps Great Replacement Theory to find out more.
Are also trying to do things behind the scenes. I feel like you are very skeevy, cowardly, disgusting people. Wasn't about Cinder. Why would Rin want to harm another co-founder, Shy Lily, because of Cinder's actions? Such idiots. Also that. And neither is the company. They've sat and twiddled their fingers doing nothing of note. In fact, the only thing that the company has done relating to this is to take away her Twitter badge. The partial owners all have badges on Twitter to show their sponsorship and ownership in the company, which, according to her, was done at her request. It was, because I wanted people to stop fucking attacking my sponsor, because they did nothing wrong. They don't co-sign any of the shit that I say. My tweets and my opinions are my own, not the opinions of the people who are sponsored with me, not the people who partner with me, which is, again, what I said in my cease and desist letter. I like that GamerSupps is apolitical. I like that they partner with people all across the spectrum. And then they kept attacking GamerSupps. Yeah, they kept attacking them anyway. Because for these people, the only thing that they want is to see me be financially ruined. Remember when we win, these people want to see you broke, dead, your kids raped and brainwashed, and they think it's funny. Nothing will be good enough for them until they achieve that. Now, if I could address GamerSupps for just a moment and send a quick message, you are cowards. Not even offering a statement about this and kicking this Nazi to the curb just by sitting by and letting this play out for Kirsche, while she and her batshit insane fans bullied a journalist off the internet for calling her out on her bigoted, racist, and Nazi-loving bullshit. Cowards, every single one of you. All of you should be ashamed of yourselves. No, GamerSupps did the absolute correct thing, not kowtowing to a cancel mob. Like, I didn't even get any communications about this shit. It's just fucking... Holy fuck, dude. These people are insane. Can Sam, but you're not Hyde? Faith, Mr. Hyde was spitting facts. He was spitting facts. And now people try to, like, discredit me by being like, oh, Kirsche's quoting a fucking pedophile white supremacist. It's like, I don't fucking know, man. Jersh tried to do an interview with the person, like, claiming things about Sam. I don't fucking know, dude. Now let me zoom out and address the bigger problem here. What appears to be complete radio silence on this issue by mainstream indie VTubers. You cannot find a single big VTuber coming out and standing in Anna's defense, or even just mumbling about this. To me, that shows one of two things. Well, before we read their fucking nonsense, no big VTubers are going to cover it because Ana is definitively in the fucking wrong here, and the big VTubers aren't even going to come out and defend me, because in the VTuber sphere, I have opinions that don't vibe with the majority of things. So it's better for most of these people to just stay out of it. The only time I would kind of side-eye someone for not talking about it is if they are a VTuber news person. Because I feel like this is probably the biggest news that has happened in VTubing in quite a very long time. So if you're branded as a VTuber news channel and you don't cover this, it's gonna start looking like you might have a little bit of a bias here. Mainstream indie, what the fuck? Yeah, right? A, apathy. They don't care about what's happening and therefore feel no need to comment. It's more like the VTuber community is very adverse to drama, and if they don't have to put a horse in a race, they won't. And I don't see any issue with that for most people. B, acceptance. By not saying anything about this, they're accepting it and essentially giving it the okay. Yeah, any logical person looking in on this, even if they don't comment, will see that Ana has been resoundingly in the wrong, and they are in the finding out of the fuck around and find out period. Let's take another VTubing controversy, for example. When it was revealed what was happening with Cinder, the entire community, as well as multiple other big indie VTubers, came out against her for valid reasons. And although I'm not going to touch this with a 10-foot pole, it's interesting to look at the different reactions with Kirsche and Cinder. Because I didn't fuck people over. I never targeted anybody. I never tried to get any single individual having anything happen to them financially or otherwise. Right now, not their pig, not their farm, why get in someone else's fight? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. One spouted bigoted and hateful remarks, no. Got rightfully called out, also no. And harassed the journalists who did so off the internet. I didn't do anything. Ana literally did that of their own volition because they couldn't handle whatever was being said to them. I haven't gone away, and I have been getting a lot of threats. So, like, fucking come on, dude. I'm not gonna have sympathy for you. Dead silence from the company backing her and other indies. The other mistreated her model artist and tried to screw over her friends and business partners. Again, dead silence from the company backing her, but this time the community as well as other VTubers called her out. Where was the energy that was brought for that when Kirsche was being a shitty fucker? I don't like that phrasing as much. You're willing to call out someone for something they did wrong, but when a great replacement theory spouting Nazi is trying to harass the trans journalist off the internet for calling her out on racism, radio silence. Because that's not what happened, you disingenuous cocksucker. Doesn't make sense, and while yes, both actions are bad, they can't be equated. Going back to the main point, the big indies need to expel the bigotry in the community at large. This will not be the last time something like this happens, and when one bad actor, Kirsche in this case, does something like this again, it reflects on the community at large. No, it fucking doesn't. I don't speak for anyone besides myself. And like, I knew that these people would do this weird fucking connecting bullshit, which is why while I was going through this, I didn't want to collab with many people. I don't want to make my friends larger targets than they already are. Moonshine already got shit, Sawa got shit. I'm sure some of my other friends have gotten weird DMs. People who aren't even associated with me, like Rosie Bell, got fucking weird DMs. So like that's what these people do. They try to manufacture some sort of shitty consensus and then browbeat everyone into going along with it. And I don't want my friends to suffer attacks by these crazy fucking freaks. Actions must be taken by not only those with influence in the community, but the entire company, to expel the Nazis and firmly say, no thank you, get the fuck out. They're so angry, they've made so many fucking grammatical errors, and now this one says no thank you? That's fucking literally rage masturbating as they write this. And it gets worse. Since Ana decided to step away from the internet for a bit, the right-wing chuds found another target, a trans VTuber named Yara. You mean one of the people who was spearheading the retarded cancellation campaign trying to get GamerSupps to drop me before Ana even made their article? You mean one of the people who was overtly harassing me and celebrated when Crime Boss dropped me and then tried to get in on getting a Crime Boss sponsorship, but then discovered that the game is too problematic for them and so they also won't be playing it? You mean that insane piece of shit? Fuck you, Klaus.
This probably is going to be banned or bleeped or pixelated out or whatever, but I did it tonight and you saw it live here on social media.
She, like Ana, has been the subject of constant hate and harassment from the right-wing chuds, with Asmongold, local fucking moron, how dare you, that's my husband, leading the charge with dog shit like this. This is just fucking crazy. I'm not even going to watch this, Jesus Christ. And no one of big influence has raised a finger to defend her. It got so bad that Ana herself, whom one can only assume was watching this all play out and fuming, decided to comment on it. Yeah, Ana, who claims they have a social media team writing for them because they're not supposed to be talking about the situation, but they want to continue talking about the situation. And I don't think you're going to be able to use a third party to write for you anyways, talking about a situation you've been told to not talk about. Unless you're being untruthful about that. Who knows anymore where your lies begin and end, Ana? After calling out journalists, saying that they abdicated their responsibility to protect people like Yara, saying she's ashamed of her profession, she then implores more queer journalists like Aaron Reed and Alejandra Caraballo. Wait, this name is really familiar. Isn't this another fucking Twitter freak, chat? Isn't this another Twitter freak? I remember this name from somewhere. Insane lawyer, likely. I'm not even gonna watch this. Many such cases. Yes, that's S-queer. Ah, shit. Yeah, that's where I recognize that name from. Imagine. Imagine. For example, to cover the story with her saying the risk factor is getting higher for queer creators. No! If you don't fucking start shit, there won't be shit! You guys wanted to run a life ruination campaign, and now you're mad that people are focusing on you instead of the person you wanted to ruin. You could have just fucking done normal content. You didn't have to do this. You caused this whole situation. This is crazy. They want to be victims so badly. She also said, had there not been a conflict of interest, she would have wrote the damn thing herself. Oh my God. This, along with the above screenshots, show the main problem. Firstly, Ana's 100% correct here. She shouldn't have to come to Blue Sky twice to say something about the harassment happening with Yara. Oh, they don't paraphrase the tweets? I guess I'll read them. Ana said, now that I'm out of the convo, Yara's facing extreme harassment from right-wingers, yet no journalists or major VTubers are speaking up for her. Is this the reality we face now? Trans VTubers run out of the space while cis people look on in silence. Again, it has nothing to do with you being trans, it has to do with you being terrible fucking people. What happened to VTubing? What happened to journalism? Don't cover me, I can live with that, but Yara deserves immediate and critical support. This kind of abuse fucks up a person's life, doubly so if they're a woman, triply if they're a trans woman. It feels to me like everyone has abdicated responsibility to protect people like Yara, even though the biggest Twitch streamer is fucking railing on her. I'm actually ashamed of my profession right now. She deserves better. P.S. I know conversations are happening behind the scenes, that people are aware and have opinions, but this harassment campaign receiving zero pushback when Yara is just speaking on behalf of trans people and trans rights, fucking nuts. All right. We seriously need some eyeballs on this story as the risk factor is getting higher for queer creators. At Erin in the Morning, at Aftermath Site, at 404 Media, at S-Queer, at The Verge, at them.us. Please look into what this trans creator is experiencing. It's terrible. I really shouldn't even be on here, and it's awful how all the people who know and can do something speak out have abdicated responsibility. So I have to come on here and tweet again just to help Yara. Like, holy shit, dude. I'm so disappointed in how all of this has been handled. Wow. Just, the irony is palpable. Secondly, the fact that this has happened not just with Ana herself, but now with Yara, shows either apathy among influential cis people, influential VTubers in this case, or an acceptance and okaying of the harassment. It's genuinely disgusting just how little attention this is getting from major indie VTubers, and the fact that now 2 trans people have been harassed by right-wing hate mob with nobody of influence, especially in the VTubing community, has said a damn thing. Radio fucking silence. Let me bring it up again. Cinder, another big indie, gets shit thrown at her for allegedly mistreating her model artist, massive hatred and anger from the community and fellow indies. Ana and Yara both get harassed by 2 right-wing losers, with Ana having to indefinitely step away from the internet. I have literally had to leave my home because of the harassment campaign Ana has perpetuated. Ana's still talking on fucking Blue Sky, so what the fuck do you mean? Sorry if I have no sympathy for this piece of shit. I will end with this in closing. The entire VTubing community, especially the indies, are acting incredibly cowardly when it comes to Ana and Yara. All the indies who have influence aren't stepping up and calling out hateful bigotry these 2 are receiving. I cannot stress this enough, the fact that the entire community of big indies rose up in anger against Cinder, but none have so much as uttered a peep about the vile and disgusting harassment campaign that these 2 are experiencing. It reeks of complicity and cowardice. In the community, there needs to be stronger pushback against this because, like I said, this will not be the last time this happens. And if the indies don't show up to push back against this, there might be much more grave consequences. They have big microphones. It's high time they use it to call out the rampant transphobia that has shown itself with Ana and Yara. Nobody gives a shit that they're trans. Nobody gives a shit. They're shitty people, and that is why they're getting backlash for doing shitty things that shitty people do. Nobody gives a shit if they're trans. Psychos don't want to hear. Remember everyone, scum is meant to be cleaned up and thrown in the trash? Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. And then, after writing this one, this was May 26th, this was yesterday, after writing this article, that same website, today, May 27th, wrote, "To Mythic talent VTubers, speak out against what your boss is doing." I don't usually write response articles to something, but this is different. The complete apathy as to what is happening here is disgusting. For the uninitiated, big Twitch streamer and noted right-wing asshole Asmongold is currently engaging on a hate crusade on trans VTuber Yara. He's accusing her of all the usual transphobic talking points, telling her to stay away from the kids, which if you ask me, should require an immediate search of his drives. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Fucking Yara, these people are way too fucking focused on age of consent. Kids don't consent to puberty, fucking that Yara. And you want to say Asmongold needs a search of his hard drives? What are you gonna find? A bunch of Photoshop pictures of me in maid dresses? Come the fuck on. This comes after another right-wing Twitch streamer, Kirsche harassed Vice journalist Ana Valenz off the internet. This doesn't serve as a retreading of this point. If you want to get the full story, I wrote about it here. This serves as a call out to all the VTubers who are under Mythic talent for not saying anything about their boss, Asmongold. Chat, I'm sure there's still some like ownership, right? Because you can't just like fire yourself and give up all of your shares in a company because he founded Mythic. But if I remember correctly, didn't he step down from his leadership positions? Doesn't he no longer have a leadership position at either OTK, Mythic, or fucking Starforge? They're so fucking desperate. These people don't understand just how many VTubers look up to Asmon. He is literally the VTuber collector, man. The Roach Lord is untouchable. Get fucked, weird-ass journalists. You know it was OTK. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe he only stepped down from OTK. I have no idea. I thought it was all 3, but I could very well be wrong. Mythic is also a loose conglomerate of independent talents, more so than an agency. Also 100% that. It's not like an agency. We all have like individual managers and shit. OTK and Starforge, you thought? I mean, it's possible. It's possible he didn't step down from a leadership position at Mythic. I just assumed that he'd stepped down from all of the companies that he was an owner in. He owns it still. He just used to help run all of them. Okay, all right. Asmon VTuber daughter is cute. I'm gonna have to adopt. We both have white hair already. It works out. She'll look like she's mine. The Roach King has many daughters. He's still owner? Okay, he's still owner at Mythic? Alright, so I guess technically he is our boss then, eh? VTuber collector Asmongold Vidal Fishman. Shondo just joined Mythic too, and the harassment she's gotten, particularly around her mom. You don't think anyone is going to speak out to support these people? 1000%. What happened to Shondo is incredibly fucked up. Like, people unironically using a family suicide to do shitty things to her, that's insanity. Like, you are not the good person in that scenario. actual fucking horrendous people that I can wish only nothing but bad things on. Asmongold is their boss. If any of the VTubers speak out, they might face repercussions. I hear you and say, while all this is true, all VTubers of Mythic should know that the actions of their boss reflect bad on the org as a whole, and on them by extension. They do know that we can just, like, leave if we don't like it in Mythic, right? Right? Their silence doesn't help either, and while I do understand that most of them may not support this, they still need to say something about it. No, they don't. Mythic has some big VTubers under their belt, like Sayu, Shy Lily, Vienna, Silvervale, all big VTubers with big followings and respect in the industry. Not a damn thing from any of them. This is just like that article being like, why haven't Coefficient and Nags said anything? Because they don't fucking need to. I don't interact with any of these people. They have zero connection to me. Why are you invoking their name? Why are you doing, like, you look like a psychopath. Like I said in the previous article, when the Cinder drama played out, the entire VTubing community, as well as the names listed above, came out condemning her actions. When Kirsche spouted racist and bigoted shit and attacked the journalist who called her out, crickets from the major indies. Yeah, and especially now, after Vice capitulated to a cease and desist, they're gonna look like fucking retards if they came out defending the weirdo who has rapist fantasies about macaroni in a pot pussy. And now when Asmon and his ilk of losers are harassing a trans VTuber, crickets again, they were harassing me. Where is this energy? Where is the unending rain of hellfire and condemnation for Kirsche? Because I did nothing wrong and I was the one being harassed, you fuck. But I've already brought this up in my previous article. I want to use this to send a message, not just to the VTubers at Mythic, but to indie VTubers, period. Especially the ones in influence. If you truly care about trying to foster an accepting community, speak out against the rampant bigotry that's revealed itself with Ana Valenz and Yara. Yeah, I have a message as well. If you're an indie VTuber and you don't want to talk about politics, don't fucking do it. If you want to talk about politics, fucking more power to you. You just gotta understand, when you step foot into this fucking arena of piss, it's gonna get real pissy real quick, and you're gonna get splashed on. So you gotta be ready for some of the consequences of having an opinion and standing by that opinion that is not held by the majority of terminally online freaks. And it's like, I hope that I can continue to help people feel like they can talk about opinions that they have and beliefs that they have, and that they will have support if they get tried to run off the internet by seething Twitter freaks as well. I've had a handful of DMs, and I don't really answer DMs, so I'm sorry, but I've gotten a handful of DMs from people who have said that to me, and it makes me feel very happy that other VTubers or other content creators are just like, I feel inspired by the way that you've defended yourself, you've stood up for yourself, and I feel like I can say things that I believe in with more confidence. And yeah, Sean has been incredibly helpful as well. I've asked him for advice on multiple occasions with all of the shit that I'm dealing with, so he has been fucking wonderful helping out in the background. Very big thank yous to Sean. Back on topic. But wait, they don't want to talk about politics or any dicey subject. Cinder was only called out because she's one of the main pillars of the community. I mean, she was fucking massive, but like, I don't know. I wouldn't call anyone a main pillar, right? We're all just kind of like in our own little spheres here, yeah? Firstly, while I understand their reasoning as to why they chose not to talk about this, but staying silent, especially now, when one of the biggest Twitch streamers, and who, for at least a majority of them, owns the talent agency they work for, is harassing a VTuber simply for being trans isn't a good look. I don't know how many times I have to say it's not because they're trans. They're gonna continue to try and use this as a shield from criticism, because again, that's what these people do. It has quite literally nothing to do with them being trans. Quite literally nothing. And anyone who tries to claim as such is doing so under bad faith. Secondly, what Kirsche did is leagues worse than what Cinder did. The two of their actions shouldn't even be mentioned in the same sentence. Saying that Cinder was only called out because she's one of the big indies doesn't excuse the fact that Kirsche's actions had much more severe consequences. I quite literally did nothing wrong. You guys applied things to me that I did not think nor ever thought, and then tried to paint me as a terrible person because of them. You disagree with some political opinions that I have, but they are not Nazi adjacent. They are not white supremacist. Those are not things that I am, that you want to claim that I am. None of them have tried to use their microphones to speak about this. Like I said initially, this could mean one of two things. I'm not going to read that again. And while we don't know if the Mythic VTubers, whom I will be calling Mythic VTs from here on, are in a position to speak out about this, that still doesn't stop any of the non-Mythic VTubers from saying anything. All of them are complicit in letting this happen with little to no pushback. It's sad to watch this play out, as we're seeing the hatred that's being propagated by the alt-right Nazis against us for simply existing. And in this case, the silence of any cis people with influence in the industry. I'm going to sound like a broken record when I say this, but it can't be stressed enough. Cinder mistreated her model artist and tried to screw over her friends and business partners, earned the ire of major indie VTubers and wider internet as a result. Kirsche and Asmongold, man, we're just being responded to as a couple now. What is happening? Harassed 2 trans content creators, with the former having her fans send death threats, telling the journalist that rightfully called out her bigoted shit, silence from major indies. No, none of this is real. None of this happened. The fucking death threats were from anonymous accounts on image boards, dude. You can't, that could very well have been Ana sending death threats to herself as much as it could have been anyone in anyone else's audience. You have no idea who these fucking people are. And it's insane to try and apply their actions to me. And even if it was someone in my audience, I don't control them. I'm not their father. All I can do is say, I don't like harassment, don't fucking do it. But you guys don't report on how many times I fucking said that because you want to paint me as some sort of crazy fucking Nazi. And now I have 400% Parkinson's because I'm in a bunker surrounded by firearms because of you. But can you be our mother? I don't know if you can pay me enough for that one. If that is not a blatant definition of a double standard, then I honestly don't know what is. Again, to all Mythic talent that are in a position to do so, if you truly believe in trying to make and welcoming community, speak out. Some of these fucking errors I can't even like brain skip. Speak out against what Asmon, your boss, is doing. He's leading a rampant hate campaign against a trans VTuber. If you truly stand with trans people, hold your boss to account and call him out for the vile things he and his scum ilk have done. This goes for all indie VTubers with influence. If you don't, it shows your blatant complicity and cowardice in this. Sitting by and letting a campaign of harassment and hate go on is vile. Look, Asmongold has been standing up for me because I have been the one being attacked since March. And Vice and Ana were ones to continue this harassment against me and made it into a much bigger deal than it actually is. It's actually crazy how many times I've had to say I am not the things that they say that I am. I do not believe the things they are claiming that I do. It doesn't matter. All these people are lying. You want to speak out? Good. Can he be my boss too? You need to stream with your femboy avatar a bit longer, man. The Queer Crimson Diaries is garbo. I mean, it sounds like garbage, right? I guess it's just like they can't use actual journalist platforms anymore because they know it'll get taken down. So now they gotta use these weird blog things. They gotta use the weird blog things to attack me now.